Dr. Kemi, you're a survivor, right? This was unfortunately something that was written into your life story. You're now a psychologist working with survivors of not just sex trafficking, but also rape and trauma in all the forms that it appears, right? I'm interested to know, as a survivor first, how have you gotten to the point, right, where you've been able to heal, right? Because like I said earlier, the overwhelming majority of survivors will not have access to justice. Most of them won't even report the case. And we're talking about millions and millions of women. There's several dozen women on the call now. That means, one in every four of us has had rape also written into her life story, right? How is it that you have been able to overcome all of this without necessarily even having the access to justice, which is, like I said, the majority for most survivors?
Okay, thank you, Barrister Ruth. Incidentally, I wasn't even looking for justice. I was looking for healing.
Yeah.
For me, it was more like, how do I move on? And at the point when I was looking for moving on was at the point where I was at the lowest ebb. I was battling anger, I was battling mood swing, and quite a lot of other things like that. The low self-esteem was so terrible. And so I got some help through one or through other people who were able to help me pull through. And then one thing that I was made to understand, first of all, is that one, it's a process. And so I shouldn't be too eager to overcome it. It comes and it goes. Up till 2 years ago, I was still having this strong hate against this man who actually sexually abused me. And so it goes on. But one thing I needed, one, was that I talked about it. I found out that in talking about it, there is a relief. And then funny enough, your program was the first place ever that we had in Lekki, was the first place ever that I talked about it publicly. Before that day, I had never shared it anywhere. But I didn't know what got into me that day. I spoke about it and it was like a burden was lifted. The guilt flew away. And then it gave me opportunity now to start opening up more, tell my story, share my story with people. And then I became a source of help. So as I was helping people to heal, I was healing myself, and that helped me very, very much. So fine, I was able to acknowledge that this actually happened. It was not in a dream, but it was my reality, and so I needed to deal with my reality.
Can you just help us understand, from a psychological point of view, what exactly either yourself or the survivors that you've worked with through Pathfinders or other organizations, what exactly does rape actually do to a woman when she has that experience?
One of the greatest things, or one major thing that happened, and I recall it happened with me, was that initially I froze and it became unreal. It was like it wasn't happening. And then it now moves on to this feeling of being violated. For quite a lot of people, they feel dirty. So for a lot of people, they feel ugly, they feel ashamed. That feeling comes because you feel like something terrible had happened to you that shouldn't even happen to anyone. So most people feel ashamed, they feel violated. And then there's this self-blame. You start wondering in your mind, was I the one that actually made this to happen? Did I do anything particularly to make this to happen? Because I kept thinking in my head then, what did I do? Was there something about me? My case was peculiar because as I was living in Lorry, where the first act happened, I came home, I couldn't tell anybody, but I was just trying to take solace in novels and things like that. I went to the place where I usually get it, and then the man hugged me and forcefully kissed me again. And then in my head, I was like, something must be wrong with me. And so for quite a lot of people too, they carry guilt, a burden of guilt, a load that they carry because they feel something was, or they actually caused this or made this to happen. And so for some other people too, anger comes in. They feel so angry with the world. My case, I was angry with my mom because I felt she should have seen this. She should have noted it. She should have observed it. So a lot of people are very, very angry. They become hopeless. And one important thing that also happened is this issue of self-esteem. it usually takes a nosedive because you see yourself as being violated, you see yourself as not being worthy, you see yourself as something is wrong with you, automatically your self-esteem goes down. And so for quite a lot of people, they are not able to opt and move on again because they feel something is wrong with them. And so for some people, they start failing in school, they are not able to form relationship. Some people go into anxiety, they see men, their head starts, they start having tremor, palpitation because they feel it's going to repeat itself again. Some people have nightmares and they can't move past that. Some people can't go into depression, depressive feelings, and a whole lot of other things like that. So these are some of the emotions that people pass through, and it's even moved into, I've seen quite a lot of people who even till now can't get married, all because they were sexually violated when they were younger. So it permeates from childhood even to adulthood.